This video is about the golf swing in threes by Stephen Vig. Pieces of the golf swing seem to occur in three categories, and while there are many exceptions to the rule, Category 1 pieces often occur together, Category 2 and Category 3 pieces often occur together. We will look at these in a right-handed golfer. Right-hand grip. Mike Adams says that the right-hand grip has an influence on the swing path. A right-hand grip rotated more clockwise, so-called under or side under grip by Mike Adams, matches up with an inside to out swing path. A right-hand grip on the right side of the handle, so-called side-on grip by Mike Adams, matches up with an inside to inside swing path. And a right-hand grip rotated more counterclockwise, so-called side cover or on top grip by Mike Adams, that matches up with an outside to in swing path. Mike Adams says a golfer might post up more on the right leg or both legs or the left leg. A golfer who posts up on the right leg, so-called rear post, will tend to swing more inside to out on the swing path. A golfer who posts up on both legs, center post, will tend to swing more inside to inside on the swing path. A golfer who posts up on the left leg, front post, will tend to swing more outside to in on the swing path. Stack and tilt golfers often post up more on the left leg. Here's Luke Donald, the rear post golfer. You can see him kind of leaning more toward the right at the top of the backswing. Here's Justin Rose. He's a center post golfer. He's a little more upright. And Scotty Scheffler, front post golfer. He's leaning the most to the left at the top of the backswing. The Golf Machine book by Homer Kelly describes three positions of the right elbow in the downswing. The pitch position has the right elbow moving in front of the abdomen on the downswing, leading the forearm and resulting in a path which is inside to out. The push position has the right elbow toward the right side of the body, kind of near the seam of the shirt, halfway down in the backswing, at the same position as the forearm, resulting in a path that is out inside to inside. The punch position has the right elbow further to the right side of the body, halfway down in the downswing, so the right elbow is actually flared out a little bit, trailing the forearm, and resulting in a path that is outside to inside. Swing Catalyst gives you three charts of the ground reaction forces in your golf swing. A horizontal force is also called a slide in the general direction of the target, and this is often dominant in rear post golfers. A torque force is also called rotate. This is often dominant in center post golfers. A vertical force is also called jump. This is often dominant in front post golfers. Note that long drive golfers might have very high levels of all three forces and hit the ball very far. Here is Swing Catalyst and some dual force plates. And again, you can see the horizontal and the torque and the vertical forces. Right foot flare. The right foot should have more flare with a rear post golfer. The right foot should have a little flare on a center post golfer, and the right foot should be square with no flare on a front post golfer. That would help, for example, the front post golfer to be able to get back to the left side the fastest. Weight shift to the right in the backswing. The weight will shift more to the right on the backswing of a rear post golfer. The weight will shift a medium amount to the right on the backswing of a center post golfer, and the weight will shift less to the right on the backswing of a front post golfer. Timing of the beginning of transition, which is the recentering move. Category 1, the transition begins later for a rear post golfer. Number 2, the transition begins earlier for a center post golfer. Number 3, the transition begins the earliest for a front post golfer. So note that the transition should begin before the top of the backswing in all of these golfers. In general, amateur golfers need to begin the transition earlier in their swing. Stance direction. The stance can be slightly closed for a rear post golfer, can be square for a center post golfer, and can be slightly open for a front post golfer. Note, however, a player like Aaron Baddeley can be a front post golfer with a side cover right-hand grip who normally would have an open stance, swing out to in, and hit a fade. However, Aaron Baddeley has recently played from a slightly closed stance to allow him to hit a straight ball, or sometimes from even a more closed stance to be able to hit a draw. And Aaron has worked with Coach Mike Adams on this swing change. Here's a picture of Aaron Baddeley, again a front post golfer, side cover right hand, but with a closed stance. Ball flight. A rear post golfer with an under or side under right hand grip will often swing in to out and hit a higher draw. A center post golfer with a side on right hand grip will often swing inside to inside and hit a mid-trajectory straight ball. Finally, a front post golfer with a side cover or on top right hand grip will often swing from outside to in and hit a low fade. A rear post golfer often has a wider stance, center post golfer has a medium width stance, and a front post golfer often has the narrowest stance. Book The Release, Golf's Moment of Truth, was written by Jim Hardy, published in 2016. Jim Hardy describes the LOP release, which stands for left arm outward pull, which is a little like the pitch position in the golf machine. Jim Hardy also describes the RIT release, which stands for right arm inward throw, which is a little like the push or the punch position from the golf machine, with the elbow more outward on the downswing. Here's Jim Hardy's book. Dan Alton Golf Instruction on YouTube. Dan is not a fan of pulling the handle out to the right using a clockwise rotation of the forearms in the downswing in a pitch position from the golf machine, which is again the right elbow in front of the abdomen halfway down in the downswing. Instead, Dan prefers a counterclockwise rotation of the forearms in the downswing and almost a casting of the club early in the downswing with a punch position, again from the golf machine, with the right elbow flared out halfway down in the downswing. Dan Alton's unconventional method reminds me a little bit of the Malaska move that Mike Malaska described a few years ago on YouTube. This move is most useful for a golfer who is under the plane or stuck as the golfer approaches impact. There's Dan Alton, and there's Mike Malaska and the Malaska move. One more comment I noticed from Mike Adams, kind of interesting, on a recent YouTube video by Mike Adams. It was the Smart to Move YouTube channel from March of 2024. He said that if you have high vertical forces and high rotational forces, that will tend to have an open club face going through impact, and you will need to have a stronger left-hand grip to offset the open club face. There's a Smart to Move screenshot. Remember, there are many ways to swing a golf club, and there might be exceptions to almost everything I said in this video. However, I hope that this video gives you some ideas about how to think about your golf swing and which pieces of your golf swing tend to match up best with other pieces of your golf swing. Thanks for watching. This is Stephen Vig in San Antonio.